Well, great news that the Open Championships will be coming to Manchester next month, but squash as a whole has been dealt a big blow this afternoon with the announcement that the International Olympic Committee will not be considering the sport for inclusion in the 2016 Olympics. With me to discuss that in more depth is Vicky Botwright, a former world number 5 and current development coach for Manchester, head coach in Manchester, aren't you, with the English Squash and Racquetball Association. Vicky, let's just react to that news, and it is big news. Yeah. Rugby Sevens has come through good, women's boxing in 2012 and golf in 2016, but your big hopes were to finally get Olympic representation in this sport in 2016. It's not happened. It's
not happened, yeah. So it was a big blow for us today to find that we weren't in the last two, you know, in contention. We were pinning out all our hopes on today, really. We've done a lot of campaigning and it's kind of ended now.
Let's just clear things up, because people might be confused and think they've seen it in the Olympics. They haven't. It's Commonwealth Games it's represented in, but never in the Olympics. And what was that? For budget reasons, that this was the big aim, to move your sport forward? Yeah,
it's never been in the Olympics, and we don't really know why, but we feel that we should be in the Olympics. And a lot of people, a lot of the just general public think that we're already actually in the Olympics. So, you know, you ask someone in the street and they would probably think squash was already in there, and we think we should be in there. And, you know, we're strong at what we do, and we would pretty much guarantee medals.
Where would you go from here then? Because I think, you know, this has to be confirmed. All this has to be confirmed in October, but it's pretty much a done deal, isn't it? Where do you go from here? What can you look to?
Well, the thing is, squash is such a fantastic sport, and it appeals to loads and loads of people. We have great participation. We've got, as you mentioned, the British Open in September, the Commonwealth Games are next year. And
here in Manchester.
Here in Manchester, at Sports City. It's the Commonwealth Games next year in India, and I know that obviously all the players will be gearing up to kind of compete in that. That'll still be their focus from now on, the Commonwealth Games and World Open and British Open. So, you know, it is disappointing, but we know that we can kind of still move on with our sport and take it to the public and showcase squash how we can. I mean, especially here in Manchester, Manchester City Council put on fantastic events over at Sports City, and last year the World Open and the British Open for the next 3 years, actually, so we'll continue to do our best.
OK, but, no, it's a big blow, and it opens up the debate, doesn't it, that golf has its big tournaments, its multi-million-pound tournaments, whatever, you know, it's big money involved in these sports, and everyone wants to win a gold medal, whether you're £1 million a year on or nothing a year, and you're not getting that chance. Is it fair that these big money sports get representation?
No, I personally don't think it's fair from a player's point of view, and also from a coaching point of view now. If we were to compete in the Olympics, it would be the pinnacle of our sport. There would be nothing higher than competing in the Olympics and having the chance to compete for a gold medal. You know, in other sports, I don't want to name them, but is it the pinnacle of their sport? I mean, that's for people to decide. But I know that there's some sports in there that it isn't the highlight of their career to compete in the Olympics, whereas it would be for squash players.
OK, let's turn the spotlight a little bit on yourself then, because you've recently retired. You're one of the more well-known competitors in the sport. We can got a little bit of clip of action of you. You're still in action, you're still playing, not at a sort of top standard anymore, but you had a degree of success during your time?
Yeah, well, there was a World Open here last year in October, which I was in a full-time job, but somehow still managed to make the final. And previous to that, World number 5 and England number 1.
But you're retired now?
I'm retired now, yeah. I still kind of occasionally come out just to keep the kids, you know, bash them down a little bit so they don't get too cocky.
It must have been a hard decision if you were still pretty much at the top of your game.
I didn't want to be one of those players that kind of flitted down the rankings and then just got to 20 in the world and thought, oh, I'm 20 in the world, I think I should look for a job. And unfortunately, our sport is one of those ones that we haven't been blessed with financial gain. So we do it for the love of it, and then we go to work afterwards. And a fantastic job came up in Manchester to work with the kids as the head squash coach, and I thought that I would take that opportunity. OK, which is great that people like yourself are still involved and you can teach the youngsters. We've got through the conversation, we've not mentioned the famous gear that you once sported. What was it? A unique outfit. We'll leave that. You're famous for it in your own right. Thank you.
But interesting, though, talking of controversy, women's boxing you might be a good standpoint on this. What do you make of that being included in the 2012 Olympics?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of sat on the fence, I think, a little bit. I think I like the training, but I'm not sure. From me personally, I don't think I would like to be hit, and I don't want to hit anyone.
But as a minority sport finally getting recognition,
that's fantastic. I think it shows that, you know, if you keep plugging away, there's hopefully hope for squash in the future, as they've shown with women's boxing.
OK, Vicky, thanks for coming in. I'm sorry what's happened. It's a big blow to you, but obviously you'll carry on and endeavour to improve the sport, won't you?
Hope so, yes. Thank you.
OK, thanks. See you soon.